Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Two Mates Chatting Football Leadership. I said I'd do this at the very beginning, so here we go. I cannot escape and I cannot forget. Southgate, you're the one, you still turn us on. Football's coming home again. Yeah!
Who on the square?
Absolutely buzzing for it. If you didn't know, this show is about Gareth Southgate, and we're going to put to bed a lot of the negativity that's been around him. We'll talk some truths here. A lot of people had a lot of stuff to say at the very beginning, but we're not there yet, but we're on the way to doing something that no one ever thought we'd ever do. So I'm not saying we're going to do it, but let's at least be positive and be optimistic. There's no point being negative all the time like we normally do as England fans. Ash, how you doing?
Very well, you? Great show today. Can't wait. Gareth Southgate. I hate him, now I love him.
Exactly. I was just about to say, you've never really been the biggest Southgate fan, have you?
Nah, but then again, what can I say? This is it, He's on the cusp of something amazing.
Yeah. So when I was doing a little bit of research, Southgate came in after Allardyce got sacked for the corruption case. So talk about taking your chances.
I know. Yeah, what a chance. He did reject the job at first, though. I think before Allardyce, he did reject the job because he didn't feel he was ready. And then they went back in for him, and here he is.
Yeah, quite incredible. So most people probably know the story of Gareth's football career. Everyone knows the dreaded penalty miss in the Euros. To come back from that was quite incredible. But what a lot of people might not know is that he took over England at the youth level at under 21s. And from what it seems to be, that is the great foundation that he's worked from, because there's a lot of players that are coming through that he's working with now that he managed or led all those years ago. So there's been that stability, there's been that coherence, there's been the same each day. You know what you're getting. And it's been able to go through all of the youth team, the first team now as well. So you've got players like Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Jadon Sancho, Grealish, Foden. But not just that, you've got players that have won the under 17s or under 18s World Cup as well. So they know what it's like to win something with England. And that is a big difference this time round.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I go back to 2018 World Cup, and if you look around that team then, you didn't really have many winners in the team, as in the players hadn't really won. Okay, the players won, I think, a couple of championships, like maybe John Stones and Kyle Walker, but apart from them, I can't really think of too many. Whereas this time around, you've got Champions League winners, championship winners. There's winners all round. I know the United boys didn't win anything, but they got to finals. They're getting better. They finished second, etc. And also the players are that much older and have that experience of the World Cup, and they've taken it into this tournament, and they've just kept their heads down and just kept doing what they're doing.
Nice. So as we know, this podcast is about the football leadership and how there's a correlation with business leadership. But in regards to Gareth and some of the big decisions that he's made, and a lot of people have ridiculed him for it. I'll list a couple now. Starting Trippier in the first game, people said, how can you play him? Playing Phillips and Rice in the middle, how can you be so defensive? How can you put Raheem Sterling in the team? They should have taken Kane off at half-time against Scotland. Like, all of these decisions, but as a leader, you have to own what you're doing. And that's what I respect so much about Gareth. Like, he'll listen, he'll take on, but at the end of the day, it's his decision. And at the moment, the big decisions he's making seem to be paying off. So I know before we went online here, you had some things to say. So let's hear it from you, Ash.
Yeah, his leadership.
The decisions that he's made.
The decisions. Yeah, no, two of the main decisions is, there was a culture where England always take away injured players, i.e. Wayne Rooney, David Beckham. And, he was like, oh, I'm not going to do that when he got the job. But he took a huge risk taking Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson. And especially Harry Maguire massively paid off. He gives that assurance at the back when there's a good centre-half next to him that's unbelievable. And also, a lot of people don't talk about it, but, Luke Shaw playing in front of Ben Chilwell, and Trippier. Obviously, Trippier played the first game. Luke Shaw's been absolutely incredible. I'm one of his biggest critics, call him lumpy, dumpy, whatever. He has been sensational. Another Gareth Southgate decision he's got right. He's made a lot of decisions, but he's stuck by them. Raheem Sterling, there was pelters coming for Raheem, and he's proved everyone wrong. Harry Kane, take him off. There was one game he did take him off early. But then, he restored him straight away for the Czech Republic game, and he stuck by him.
Yeah.
So, everything he's doing now, everything he touches is turning to gold, and he's in the most unbelievable position.
Yeah. I think what I like about this, even though you've said, like, there's more experience now, they're still so young, this team. They're still so young. There's still so much. I think Luke Shaw's still only he's still young as well. He's been 25. Around for years.
25.
Yeah, and you look at, still 25, and you think what he was doing 7-8 years ago with Southampton, he got signed for 35 million to United, or maybe more. Some big sight, but even Raheem is still so young as well, what he was doing with Liverpool those years ago. So there's experience there, but also still such young talent. But when you mention about the culture of bringing injured players, and Gareth said he'd never do that, it was quite interesting because I was listening to an interview with him, and they asked him that. They said, like you said in the past, you're only going to pick the team on ability, who's playing well. You're not going to pick injured players. And he said, that's what I said before. And I put my hands up and I say, if a player is going to add something to this team and there's a chance he can play. I remember it's a long tournament. It's 6 weeks in total, or 5 weeks in total. And okay, you might miss a couple of the games at the beginning, but if you're getting into the knockout stages and you've got someone like Maguire that's fully fit, or at least rested, and you've got someone like Henderson who can come on when you need to take Phillips off or Rice for a yellow card and then come on and score. It's just amazing how all the stars seem to be aligned. But I'm not getting ahead of myself. But what I like about Maguire, which is what he's added, and it's only from me watching this analysis with the real specialists of football, he plays out from the back in a way that he's going forwards with it. He'll find that gap for midfield, and it will speed up play. And that's what they were saying in this analysis. Like, people were playing out from the back, but they were playing to the side. They weren't moving ahead, and he kind of speeds up play just because he's putting it forward.
Yeah. No, listen, I see it for Man United from not the beginning of the season, but from December onwards, he was immense for us, and he was a huge miss in the final that we lost. If you put someone good next to him, i.e. John Stones, he can play his game, and when he drags that ball forward, then he just moves into space. He glides into space. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, for a big lump as well. Finds the gaps. He can glide. Yeah, no, it's quite amazing what's going on, and I think it's quite funny in regards to, we've got to mention the Roy Keane quote about Henderson. What you're bringing in with to run the quiz.
Yeah, no, I do get what Roy Keane's saying to a point, but Henderson come on, scored a goal, so he proved his worth there.
Yeah, I think Roy Keane puts up this image that he doesn't need anyone to raise him up. He doesn't need any support. But if you've got someone like Henderson in that dressing room, who's very vocal, who'd won the Champions League 2 years ago, the Premier League a year ago, and you got someone like that is a team player. There's no ego with him. He just literally is a boy from up north that just wants to play football and support his teammates. when you've got someone like that in that dressing room, along with Harry Kane, who's a bit vocal, I'm not sure, but I think Henderson is the most vocal there. How can you not bring him with, especially if there's a chance he can come on with 10, 15 minutes to play and shore things up a bit as well?
100%, yeah. It's a good player to play, and the way Gareth using it is he's giving Rice or Phillips a rest and bringing him on. He's not going to be a starter. Rice, the team is the team now. That's it. And he just brings on players to work around them.
And it's amazing because everyone goes on about being so defensive, but as long as Sterling, Kane, Sancho, Foden, whoever that is there, as long as they've got a bit of confidence to actually play with the ball, like if you've got those players behind and you've got the wingers running up, then you get balls in the box like Luke Shaw's been doing to Kane and to Sterling, and they're getting on the end of it, so why not have those guys if they can shore it up? And they're fine on the ball as well, these guys. It's amazing. A year ago you think, oh, Rice and Phillips in the middle, I mean, you just wouldn't have thought that at all. You just would not have thought that.
No, you're right.
And what I find the most interesting thing is that Trippier decision at the beginning, because nobody called that. What is he doing? Not one pundit said they should start Trippier. But what I like about the decision he made, who's Trippier's manager? Simeone. Who is the best defensive coach? Probably, best defensive manager, probably, Diego Simeone. If you need somebody that needs to teach somebody how to defend so they can't get anything down that side, you want Simeone, and he's got Trippier. So I think it was the most brilliant decision to make. But that brings me on to my next point, because behind every great leader is the team, it is the coaching team that supports him. And you've seen a man on the touchline with him constantly, with Gareth Southgate, and that's Steve Holland. Now, not everybody knows this Steve Holland, and it's only because I'm such a big Chelsea fan that I really know quite a bit about him. But for the audience, I'll give a bit of background here. So,
yes, do it.
Here we go. Give me a minute. So he originally started his career as a footballer for Derby County, but was injured in his late teens. And from that point, he played on a little bit, but decided to call it quits and took on coaching. By the age of 22, he had his coaching badge. He's one of the youngest to ever do it. He went to Crewe Alexandra, to Stoke, and that was around about 10 years of his career. And then after that, along with other things, he got picked up by Chelsea to be the reserve team coach. And they actually went on to win the Premier League, the reserve team Premier League, against Blackburn. After that, he took a step up and was assistant to AVB. Now, when AVB went, Andre Villas-Boas, he was assistant with Roberto Di Matteo, who went on to win the Champions League that year. He's worked with Ancelotti, Rafa Benitez, Conte, and in 2013, he took on an assistant coaching role with England at the under-21s. Now, who was the manager in the under-21s at that time? Gareth Southgate. So from that point, he's been working with Gareth all of these years. And then when the role got given to Gareth in 2016 for England, Steve Holland then quit Chelsea and joined him up as a full-time. So you've got this guy that's come through, he's been a player, got injured, and he's had success all the way through with winning the Champions League, winning Premier Leagues, as an assistant working with Chelsea, working with some incredible managers, Conte, Ancelotti, and now he's with Southgate. So Southgate is a great manager, and there's no doubt about that. But when you've got someone like Steve Holland that's helping you and assisting you, it can only be a bonus.
Amazing. You really have done your research.
Yeah, there you go.
From saying all that, the guy's a born winner.
This is it. And remember, he went to Real Madrid with Ancelotti and won the Champions League as well. La Decima.
Wow. La Decima,
which was never meant to happen. So I don't know what he does. I'd love to really analyse him and study him properly to really get to grips with. And we may need to do another show on him by himself, but success follows him. Wherever he is successful. So what is he doing on that training ground? What is he doing? And I don't know if you saw, but the Ukraine game, every goal, Gareth was over to him speaking in his ear. They were chatting away and they were making decisions. They weren't celebrating the goals. They were talking about what they're going to do right now. And to be able to be 60 minutes in and be able to take off Rice, Phillips, leave Harry Maguire on, but take Luke Shaw off, I think had a little tiny knock. It couldn't have gone better. So now you know all this about Steve Holland. What do you think?
I think he's got to be one of the best assistant coaches around.
That's it.
He's got to be up there from what he's won and who he's worked with and what he's done. I wonder he must have been offered permanent jobs, like first team coaches. He must have.
I think he did something with Derby. I think he went and did something with Derby, and I don't think it worked out, if I remember.
That was Steve Clark.
Was that Steve Clark?
I'm pretty certain. Yeah, the Scottish
audience
guy
tell us. I think it's Steve Holland. Ashley thinks it's Steve Clark. I'm going with. I think after Real Madrid, he went to Derby. I'm pretty certain he did that. And especially seeing how he started his career at Derby as a player, there might be some tie there as well. So we'll have to see what the audience say. Audience message in. But with any type of team, any type of company, and I'm sure you experienced this with your business, Ash, the culture of the team, the culture of the business is so important. So what do you think stands out in regards to the culture of that team, of the England team that's making it do so well?
He's just got a euphoria about him, a calmness about him, where he just like almost calms down. It's a team game. There's no. I mean, we've always had one single superstar, whether it be Beckham, Rooney. At a tournament, all right, Gerard Lampard. Now we've got just a team that, we have got superstars in the team, but they're very young. But he's like galvanised them together, and everyone's happy. Everyone's happy to play 10 minutes. Grealish, everyone's going mental. Bring him on. But he's keeping him happy. He's keeping him there.
Yeah.
He's just got a calmness about him where you just want to listen to what he says, and you just don't want to, ruffle the feathers. You just want to get along with everyone.
Well, it's interesting. After the Ukraine game finished, he went straight over to Grealish, who had been on the bench for the whole game, and he got in his ear straight away. And I can't tell you what he said because we don't know, but it must have been something along the lines of, "You're still so important to me. I'm sorry I couldn't bring you on. I wanted to get the whole team to be playing. Like, there was players that hadn't played before. I wanted to get them minutes." That's what I can imagine he was saying. And he's saying, "You're still my top boy, and I'm going to need you." Because you can imagine Grealish must be like, what's going on here? Why am I not coming on?
Exactly, because he wanted to give other people a chance. Look, at the end of the day, the Denmark game, he could change his front three, and put, Grealish could start, like Sancho did or Saka did. He could throw in a surprise.
Yeah. When you mentioned Sancho, I thought what's quite interesting there is like everyone was like, bring him on. How can you not bring him on against Germany? What are you doing? He plays German football. But obviously his head, it must have been something. He didn't want to get injured before signing for United, because the moment it was announced he was going to United, he's straight in that team.
Oh, conspiracy theory.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to get signed for another team, you don't want to go in for tackles, do you? You're probably not going to commit like you should. And maybe Gareth felt that or had the word with him.
Maybe. Very true. I've never thought of it like that. I thought of it more United signed him for shirt sales at a certain point.
You reckon, yeah?
Yeah, shirt sales.
What, Sancho?
Yeah. Superstar, 80 mil, or 73, whatever, shirt sales, give him number 7, get everyone buzzing, no more Glazers out.
Well, that might be the case, but obviously Sancho doesn't want to get injured, does he? So he probably didn't want to until he signed up. He probably didn't want to do that.
And also, there's like an array of talent. Like, this is what people are forgetting. Like, bring Grealish on, bring Sancho on. You've got Foden, Grealish. Rashford doesn't even get a mention. Calvert-Lewin, I thought, had a great season.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Sterling.
Well, Greenwood couldn't even make it, could he? End up getting injured. I mean, that would have been another talent to bring.
You know, it's such a talent. Honestly, it's such an array of talent he's got there. He's got, like, 6 players that can all change up top.
Yeah.
They should be good enough to win the game.
So, Gary Neville yesterday and the Arsenal TV, they retweeted it, whatever, saying same team, but with Saka. So take out Sancho, put Saka back in.
I don't know, to be honest with
you. Yeah. Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, what a choice to have, Saka or Sancho. I think Sancho, because he can be a bit more cute with the ball, and Denmark are going to be very, very solid. They're a very solid team, and you need someone that can look like, as well as run it and pass around them and make clever moves. And Sancho can do that. I feel Sancho is a bit better than Saka, but listen, either one, they're both going to go at you. And if the defender's got little pace or no pace, they're in trouble.
Yeah. So let's go back to this culture thing. If you had to kind of take one thing from what Southgate's done with that team and the culture and apply it to your business, like what would you put into it?
What would I take? Just his calmness, just the way he conducts himself. Yeah. He's never getting ahead of himself, even after the German game. He's keeping himself so level at the minute. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, he was saying, like, how can he tell players to play freely, and then when they screw up on the pitch, he's going mad on the touchline? He needs to, and that's why he gets up and he applauds them, like, you're trying, like, he can't look like he's so stressed out, because that feeds onto the players, and then they get low in confidence. So yeah, I 100% agree that calmness has been allowed the team to be free and do their thing, really.
Yeah, and he just kept it all the way through. He hasn't buckled to the media after the Scotland game, Czech Republic game. He's just kept doing what he's doing. Listen, Germany, everyone wanted Harry Kane out. He kept him.
Yeah. And what a bit of confidence does, eh? He knocks that header in last few minutes of the game and scores within the first 3 minutes of the next game against Ukraine. Confidence.
He'll be absolutely buzzing. He'll be buzzing. But this, it's another game, another test. And great game.
So we've bigged this up. We're saying how massive it is and how proud we are as English fans. And come on, Gareth, you're the one. Football's coming home again. We lived this dream 3 years ago in the World Cup, and we got to the semis and nobody thought we'd get there. And then we lost to Croatia, and our feelings were after that we wasted it. Like, even though we didn't believe we'd get there, we still thought it was our chance to do it, and it didn't happen. Do you think if we don't win tonight, or we don't win the Euros as a whole, it's a failure? Or do you think it's a step in the right direction the way we're going?
It's a failure. And I'll tell you why it's a failure. The team he has got is the best team squad at the Euros, bar France. You've got to look at the bench, what he's bringing on. You start with Grealish. You start with Sterling, Kane, Sancho. You can bring on Foden, Calvert-Lewin, Rashford, or Saka. He has got an unbelievable squad, and he's come this far. The draw has been very kind to him. If you look on the other side, all the big hitters been knocking each other out. Granted, he beat Germany, big hitter, not done before. But honestly, you're playing Denmark, and then you're in the final, and anything can happen, and you're on home turf with all the England fans going mental.
Yeah. Buzzing.
Biggest opportunity all these players will ever have, and if they don't win it, it'll be an absolute catastrophe. It really would.
So, who would you prefer, Spain or Italy in the final?
Italy don't have a finisher. Like Morata's awful. He just can't finish his dinner. But they create a lot of chances. They're very fiddly,
Spain,
technical. Yeah, Spain very technical. But Italy don't concede goals.
Right.
I know they conceded a couple, but they've not lost in God knows how long. I think one of the longest unbeaten runs. I think it's 32
31 games. I think it is now. 32 games, yeah.
So, it's tough. Which one do I want? I think now England, I don't think they should fear any of them. I think they should fear England. Because whoever England are going to play, they should fear us rather than us fear them. Because we've got better players.
Yeah.
And we've got, like you say, the team is coming together. So not only have we got the better players, we've got the team coming together. So, look, either one's going to be an amazing tough game, but you're at home, you're at Wembley, you've got an amazing squad. You've got to do it. I mean, what an opportunity.
Yeah, we've got to get past Denmark first. So what's your prediction for Denmark tomorrow?
I think to start quick and just get an early goal.
And then they score? What do you reckon?
Hey, Denmark.
Yeah.
I know, because I looked at us at Ukraine and everyone's screaming attack, attack, attack. We literally nullify teams because we just pass it sideways and then we go. Pass it sideways and then we go. Yeah. We are literally not great to watch at all. We're not great to watch. We're not playing like freestyle attacking football, but we are playing winning football, and that's the difference. So
it's interesting. Yeah, come on.
I just feel that's all he's just got to do what he's been doing, and we should be fine.
I think because I was listening to the game in Ukraine, like that's the good thing about watching it at home, about thousands of people screaming in your ear. Jermaine Genius on the commentary, and he was saying how even though it's a little bit boring to watch or whatever, he loves the way they're playing at the moment because they all want the ball. They all feel confident on the ball. Nobody's kind of giving it away because they don't want it. Like they're all running towards it. So yeah, they're playing loads of passes, but they're playing with confidence. And Spain get ridiculed for it because they get 80% possession and don't get past the halfway line. But it does seem like we're building something to then go forward with it. And think finally, like when Kane's in the box, I mean, if he would have knocked that goal in as well, the third one, which Henderson scored from the corner afterwards.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting because I was watching Rooney, the United game against Newcastle, when he's talking to the ref, having a go, and all of a sudden the ball comes in and smashes it in. And on the volley.
That volley, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. But
I remember watching that. That was brilliant.
Oh God, that would have been amazing. That
was an amazing save by the keeper. Amazing.
Yeah. And we went on to score the header afterwards, but brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So Denmark got to be. I mean, they're gonna. I don't think they're going to be so defensive. They're just going to be so solid, aren't they? I think they're going to want to play football, but be defense first, but don't park the bus. I don't think they're going to be like.
Yeah, and they're on a massive, with the whole thing that happened, unfortunately, to Christian Eriksen, they're on a massive, mission, to get to the set. Bearing in mind, I think they only won one game in their group stage. To get to the semi-final in this state, like they're on a mission.
Yeah.
They are on a mission.
I know I short you up the time, but
go on.
It's always been a pleasure having you on here. We haven't done it for a while now, so I wanted to get us on here before the England game because Southgate, out of everything that goes on, and what I like about him as well, because I listened to his podcast with the High Performance, and he went to Mercedes, the F1 team, and he observed everything that was going on there, and he goes around different companies and different leaders, and he takes little bits from each of them. And I think that's so important. You're never the finished article. There's always more to learn. Like, you could be the best in your game, but there's always something that you can get inspired or learn from others. And I think the humbleness he has, there's no ego with him. He's been through everything. He's been through the highs, the lows. Like, we'd never experienced missing that penalty. We'd never experienced anything like that. To let the whole nation down. And it came down to one kick, when really you could have looked at the Gaza miss, the slide across the box, the ball across the box, and Gaza missing by inches, you know. But it came down to Gareth's penalty kick.
Yeah.
So this is a big raise of the glass, raise of the champagne to Gareth. No matter what, he's one of us. He's one of us.
He's one of us.
He's better than having a bald Swedish guy. And Southgate, you're the one. You still turn us on. Football's coming home again.
Come on.
Let's have it.
Always a pleasure. Always a
nice
pleasure.
One.
Let's catch up soon and we'll do another one. Enjoy.
Brilliant. Nice one, Ash. Take care. Speak soon.
Bye.
Laters.